Back in the beginning, I was using a lot of keyword tools, just typing roof box in and getting a load of ideas. So Answer the Public was one that I used quite a lot. So just creating content around people's questions that people were searching for around roof boxes. But nowadays, I don't tend to use hardly any keyword tools. I just use Google generally, and just I'm typing stuff into Google. I'm seeing what related searches come up. I'm seeing what the questions Google is throwing up, and I'm just noting all them down. And then once you get all that laid down in front of you, you can start to naturally see opportunities for articles and for content, and basically building it out from there. I've been using a new keyword service, which I'll quickly mention. It's called keywordcare.com, which was set up by one of my viewers and one of your viewers as well, I think, Carl. And that's for people that, you don't want to do any keyword research. You can just literally pay Carl, and he seems to have a great knack of identifying keywords that do rank really well. Of course, me and you, we did a big playlist on the keyword golden ratio a while back, and that used to be a big factor of mine. But nowadays, I've just been anything that's suggested in Google, I just tend to create content around it, because I just need content all the time. So I did start by doing a lot of KGR stuff, but nowadays it's just literally, if I haven't got an article around that question that I've seen on Google, then I'll just create an article and hope for the best.
Sure.
And generally, I think because the site's got a little bit of authority now, it does tend to rank quite well. I mean, not for everything, but for a lot of those longer tail searches, it does seem to do quite well.
Cool. And for the people that want deeper analysis, I'm going to be doing a series of videos where I tear down best roof box with Alex's gracious permission, and I'll be analyzing some of the keywords and some of the other things like behind the scenes that maybe we're not going to talk about today, because it's like the deep minutia, very detailed. So I'm going to be going into that.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
And so basically at this point, you understand what keywords are going to work pretty well. Usually you're using the featured questions in Google. So you'll Google a term and then you'll see what questions people are asking.
Yeah. And then you can just keep clicking on that, and it just keeps giving you more and more questions forever. I think it doesn't ever run out. But yeah, so that's mainly what I've been doing. So they're very much response articles, I guess you'd call that. They're called response articles, I think, where you're basically creating articles around people's questions.
Awesome. And do you have any, epic successes by doing that? One where you just picked one out and now it's like one of your highest traffic kind of situations?
That's a good question, which I've not prepared for. Let me have a quick look on my analytics. I've got it right here. I know a lot of them are ranking well, and they do kind of bring in traffic. I don't know. Let me just see what does bring in best traffic. And I've had some quite good luck with snippets, that kind of thing, by adding a nice image and by making sure that I bold up the answer to the question in the first couple of paragraphs. That's done really well. But yeah, let me just have a quick look at my thing.
Sure.
But while you're doing that, you can ask me another question.
Sure. Actually, I could just talk. So one of the cool techniques that I've branded the FAQ technique, which just means frequently asked questions. You literally do what Alex said and you hop over to Google, you put in a term, and there's now these featured questions, right? Common questions that go on endlessly. Some are a bit redundant and repetitive, but generally you can get a ton of ideas, and it's a great way to beef up almost any content for any kind of site, because there's usually questions associated with them. And then you could add a few hundred words to any piece of content on your site. Very easy to outsource as well.
Yeah, exactly. So I've got the last 30 days. Interestingly, the homepage gets the most entrances, so people coming to the site. The second biggest page for entrances is an article that I wrote a while back, which was a buyer's guide for a roof cargo box for a Subaru Outback, which is a car that I've never seen, because I think that's a car that's in America. By the way, my site is targeting US traffic. So again, a completely random car. I think to come up with my first ideas for articles around cars, I did a search for the top 25 most popular cars in America, because we have different cars. I'm in the UK and there's different cars in the US, and obviously the Subaru Outback must have been one of those. Creating an article around roof boxes for the Subaru Outback, and now it's the second most popular entrance page on my site, bringing in 430 people last 30 days. It's random. I mean, you would never probably be able to predict that. And again, I find that with content marketing and creating content is you just got to sometimes just throw as much at the wall as you can, and sometimes some of it sticks and does really well, and you would probably never be able to predict that there was a lot of people looking for roof boxes for a Subaru Outback, and indeed there obviously isn't much other content out there that caters for that need. That's interesting. And then the next one is how to pack a roof box carrier.
Okay.
That also brings in a lot of people.
That's
Uh,
awesome. Yeah, and I'm chuckling on the inside because I live in Colorado now. I lived in Montana before. I have some family in like Pennsylvania, and anywhere where there is like potential for like slick conditions, some wintry conditions, Subaru Outbacks and all-wheel drive type cars are like hugely popular. Hugely
yeah,
popular. They're everywhere.
they're kind
So
of. I guess they're kind of reliable. They get you out of trouble if you get stuck somewhere, that kind of thing. So yeah, and obviously a lot of people want a roof box for them.
yeah, that's amazing. And the extent of my knowledge for like cars in the UK. Did you watch Mr. Bean?
Yeah,
Do you
yeah,
ever?
yeah.
So he drove that little Mini. So I assume you that's what you have. I'm not real
Yeah,
sure.
everyone in the UK has a Mini. Of course, that's what we'll drive. No, I mean you have Minis over now
We
in the
do.
States.
Yeah, yeah,
The
yeah,
new Mini, the new
yeah,
Minis,
yeah. Of
which
course.
are obviously they're German now. But we don't talk about that. But yeah, there's a lot of Minis here. Our cars are generally a lot smaller than your cars because our roads are generally a lot smaller. We have a lot of tight corners, and whereas from what I know from being to America, you have a lot of long straight roads that are straight for a long time. You don't really need to worry about going around too many corners. So yeah, the cars are different. But yeah, we all drive Minis over here.